Do you know what data to pay attention to on your subscription program? Hi, I'm Matt Holman, the subscription doc, and on this video, we're going to dive into the data you need to know about and pay attention to when it comes to your subscription business. And no, you do not need a math degree when it comes to understanding a lot of the different data inputs and outputs related to subscriptions. Thankfully, there's a lot of software that does that for you. We're going to be spending some time on the fundamentals so you can make sure you have a solid footing in what data you should be worrying about. Now, the first thing that I like talking about when it comes to subscriptions is trying to understand that there are really only three ways to influence subscription revenue. And keep in mind that when it comes to it, revenue is the primary goal behind all of these activities. We're trying to run a business. We're trying to put food on the table for our families and the families of our employees. So we're going to talk about revenue and profitability a lot. There are only three ways to drive subscription revenue for your business. The first of these is the amount of subscribers that you have. This is how many customers you have overall in your program. The second way is the amount that they're spending with you. You can think of this as like average order value. And the third piece is how long they're a customer with you. So as a quick example, I'm going to do things in blocks of 100 so that it's kind of easy to follow this math along. Let's say you have 100 customers paying you $10 a month, right? That is $1,000 a month in revenue. You can keep them around for a year. So that's 12 months, $10 a month for 1,000 subscribers is $12,000 in subscription revenue. If I want to improve the revenue that my subscription business makes, I can move the lever on one of those three things, or I can come up with some creative ways to try to influence all three. But I could try to increase the number of subscribers. Say I double from 100 subscribers to 200 subscribers. Now my revenue is doubled from $12,000 in a year to $24,000 in a year. I could try to influence the amount that they're paying me. Instead of $10 a month, try to bump that up to $15 a month. That's going to take my $12,000 in revenue to $18,000 in revenue. Or instead of getting people to stick around for just a year, I can try to get people to stick around for 18 months or 2 years. That will also double the amount of subscription revenue. So whenever we're thinking about all these different data points, I want you to keep in mind that those are three different levers that you can try to pull at any given time. You can try to influence how you acquire subscribers in order to get more. You can influence what they're buying and what they're getting to try to bump up the dollar amount that they spend with you. Or you can try to influence the amount of time that they're with you. Now, the beautiful part about the subscription prescription program is that we actually find ways that you can try to influence all three together. Because the truth is, creating an offer that's more compelling for people, gets more people in the door, can also do a great job of getting them to stick around for a long time. And when done well, can actually have a higher average order value than subscribers you may have gained in the past. We're going to talk a lot more about that in subsequent videos. But for now, I want to start unpacking at least one of the terms I've been using so far, and that's average order value, or AOV. This is a term that gets used all the time in the direct-to-consumer space, e-commerce space, and essentially refers to the amount of money the average person is spending with you on your site and within a given time frame or time period. The next term that I'd like to unpack for you is called customer acquisition cost, or CAC. This is very, very common, especially when we're dealing with paid acquisition or money you're spending to try to get people in the door. Customer acquisition cost is simply a term where you're trying to break down the amount of money you spent in a given time frame or to make a given purchase happen. So let's say, again, in this example, I acquire 100 subscribers in a given month, and I spent $10,000 in order to do that. My customer acquisition cost for each subscriber is $100. Now, understanding that I spent $100 to acquire that subscriber lets me get a little bit deeper into understanding the profitability of those subscribers. So when we're talking average order value, like I mentioned, if the typical subscriber is only spending $10 with me, but I'm spending $100 to acquire them, it would take me 10 months on a monthly subscription to get back the money I paid on my customer acquisition costs. Now, most of you aren't selling products at $10, so you're not worried about 10-month payback periods. But many of you are dealing with 3, 4, 5, or even 6-month payback periods, which can be pretty dangerous. Again, we're going to talk more about some of the strategies you can utilize to minimize those costs to acquire customers, but also increase how long you're keeping them. But I'd like to introduce another term to you, which is customer lifetime value, CLTV or LTV for short. Lifetime value or customer lifetime value is the amount of money that someone spends with you over the life of them being your customer or your subscriber. So in the very first example I used with 100 customers paying me $10 a month for 12 months, the average customer value over 12 months spending $10 a month is $120. So my average customer lifetime value is $120. If I have 100 customers, I have $12,000 in revenue. So you can see those three legs that I've been talking to you about. There's different ways to come at the total solution, whether we're talking about lifetime value or how long somebody's been around. The final term I want to introduce in this whole kind of thought process here is contribution margin. Now, contribution margin is essentially a term from accounting that we use, which is talking about after you take away all of your variable costs, you're left with a profit amount that you can use to apply to your operating expenses, fixed costs, salaries, things like that. So again, using this example of having 100 customers that are spending $10, let's say that they're buying a pack of stickers on a subscription. Let's say it costs me $1 to make that packet of stickers, and it costs me $2 to ship that packet of stickers. It essentially costs me $3 to make and ship that packet of stickers. So setting customer acquisition costs aside for a moment, on any given pack of stickers, I've got $7 in contribution margin or profit that I can apply to the expenses of the business, paying myself, paying other employees, things like that. When we're talking about contribution margin and subscriptions, lifetime value, customer acquisition costs, it starts to get a little bit complicated because we're trying to figure out the cost to acquire a subscriber. The cost to acquire a one-time customer is often easier to see. In a given month, if I acquire 100 new customers and I know what I spent on marketing, I can divide the total cost of my marketing by the 100 customers I acquired and find out if I broke even or not, or if I made a profit or not when I include the cost of fulfilling those products. But subscriptions are a little bit different because I might have paid an acquisition cost to get them in month 1, but I'm not paying that acquisition cost in month 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. But we do want to try to come up with an average number that we can use to try to understand the profitability of each subscriber. That's where lifetime value can be really, really useful. We can start to break down the average amount of time that you have a subscriber for, right? You can think through, if I have 100 subscribers in a given year, I had 10 that made it 1 month, 10 that made it another month, and so on. With a little bit of Excel magic, I can come up with an average for how long I had all these subscribers. Now, a lot of the numbers that I've been sharing with you are actually readily available in most subscription software. So that's why I said you don't necessarily need to be a data maven when it comes to trying to extrapolate all of this data. But you do, again, need to try to understand how all these things play together. So a lot of brands that I work with look at a 3 or 4 month mark as profitability for subscribers. Others, I know, they focus on first purchase profitability, meaning if you're not willing to be acquired profitably, they're not going after you in that month 1. Now, it's a great idea to try to become profitable as quickly as possible, but that is not always realistic when we're living in the world of subscriptions. However, I do want you to be thinking about within your business the amount of money you're spending each month, the amount of new subscribers you're getting, and to have a pretty good idea of how long those new subscribers will stick around on average, so you have an idea of how much money you're getting back from the amount of money you spent on them, if that makes sense. Okay, some other terms that I want to get into are relating to, specifically within subscriptions, retention. We've got terms like churn, retention, cohorts, renewals, all those types of terms. When we're talking about data and we're talking about subscriptions, retention and churn are two sides of the same coin. Retention is how well you keep somebody. Churn is a term used to like how many people you've lost within a given time period. So in the example I've been using, if in a given month I acquire 100 new subscribers, but I lose 30 subscribers in a given month, I'm churning 30 subscribers, right? Now, in a given month, if I have, say, on average 1,000 subscribers and I acquire 100, but I lose 100, I have a churn rate of about 10%, because out of those 1,000, I lost 100, That's 10% of the base. It's good to have a handle on what your average churn is per month, but that's not a number you necessarily can take a lot of action or advice on. One of the most important things you can do within your subscription program is starting to look at them within what's called a cohort. A cohort is just a term for segmenting or splitting up subscribers. And we can cohort in a lot of different ways. We can cohort by month, which is the example that I'm using a lot here. So subscribers that we acquired in January is a cohort. Subscribers we acquired in February is a cohort. We can also segment by product. So people that are subscribing to our pet product A are a cohort of product A. People that have subscribed to product B are a cohort of product B. And we can use cohorts to, again, segment and break out our customers in a way that can allow us to get some interesting insights from those. So for example, if I look at retention on product A versus product B, I might start to see differences related to those two subscription types, meaning product A might retain on average for 3 months, but product B retains on average for 4 months. If I see that product B retains better than product A, then I can go and look at ways to prioritize product B inside of my marketing efforts because I know that in general, it's retained better than product A customers. When we're talking time series, and it's really important, again, to look at customers based on the month when they are acquired together. This typically means that most of them responded to very similar marketing campaigns or specials or offers. It's also really great because within data, one of the things I'd like you to start doing is thinking about what happens over the life of a subscription. So in the example when I mentioned you have 1,000 subscribers and you lost 100 in a given month, out of those 100, how many were new? How many were on their first month? How many were on their second month? How many were on their 6th month or 12th month? The reason I ask it like that is because if you lose a subscriber after 12 months, that should bother you more than somebody you lost after 1 month. I know it sounds obvious, but to unpack that a little bit further, somebody that's been with you for 12 months is going to have a much more compelling reason about something that is right or wrong with your product than somebody that came in and bought it last week and churned right away. A lot of times people that come in new to your subscriptions are just buying for a discount. And while we can learn something from them, it's not the most important segment or cohort of your customers, of your business. People that are buying from you more and more, that is your most important segment. Now, again, you don't need to open up Excel and break all these down to see all these numbers each month. Actually, essentially every subscription app, and if they don't, you can send them this video because they should be building it out shortly. But within a lot of the top apps that you'll see, you're going to see a retention cohort breakdown over time. You're going to see, for example, January 2024, and it will show you a percentage or a number of subscribers you've retained month over month from January into February, March, April, May, and so on and so on. You'll be able to see that month over month for all your different subscribers that you've acquired. And you're going to see percentages of how well you've retained them over time. And so again, when we're thinking about our subscription data, it is important to start paying attention to time series of subscribers because knowing what's happening over time gives us better insights in what we can do with that program. Right? Most of you that are starting out with subscriptions, in fact, most subscription brands in general see really high churn within months 1, 2, and 3. There's typically a safe zone where say you churn through maybe about half of the subscribers you acquired in that given month. By the time half of that group hits months 4 or 5, you've settled into a much solid or stronger retention over time. Recapping a few things here before I make a final point. Thinking through, again, the 3 different ways you can influence revenue for your subscription business is the amount of subscribers you have, the amount that they're paying you on each subscription, and the amount of time that they spend on their subscription. When we're thinking about how we're acquiring customers, the cost to acquire those is really important to keep in mind and how long it takes us to achieve profitability for those customers. When we know how much money we're getting on average from our subscribers, we can make smarter decisions about the amount of money we spend to acquire them. Thirdly, when we're thinking about churn or retention, it's really important to pay attention to The amount of subscribers we're picking up and losing each month, yes. But it's even more important to understand how they're performing over time. As a group, how many are you keeping from month to month or from renewal to renewal? You can pay attention to your net new subscribers every month. This is, again, as an example, if I acquired 100 subscribers in a given month, but I lost 30, I acquired 70 net new subscribers. That has a significant impact on your business because of the revenue that they're bringing to you. You lost 30, but you gained another 100. The offset is 70. Is that having a positive impact on your business and as it grows? I would also like to point out as a final takeaway here that no matter what we talk about when it comes to retention or churn efforts, who you're losing at month 3 or month 6, the most impactful thing you can do to influence the revenue health for your business is to think about the amount of subscribers you're acquiring each and every month. Because while, yes, it is possible to get better at retaining somebody at month 6, if we keep focusing on making great offers and how we acquire people initially, we'll have a stronger downstream effect on the revenue in our business. And here's my example for that too. Again, say you acquired 100 customers this month. Next month, you're going to lose 10 of them. The month after, you're going to lose 10 of them. And let's just say for purposes of this, by the time month 10 rolls around, you've lost all of them. You're losing 10 subscribers each and every month. If you get 10% better at one of your months, in this example, you're keeping one extra subscriber for a month. But if I can get 10% better in how I acquire subscribers, I'm getting 10 net new subscribers into my program. It's a stronger impact when we focus about what is coming in to the top of our subscription funnel and their subscription life cycle. Furthermore, when we think about the acquisition process, about what people buy, what people are interested in, what they care about, as we will talk a lot more in the rest of these videos, we can craft offers that have a strong impact on how churn happens during the life cycle of those subscribers. For example, if I do a 50% off special to get a ton more subscribers, I might churn a lot of them really, really quickly. But if instead I run a special offer where I bundle 2 products together, I'm going to get a lot of subscribers that are getting more value from that and potentially will stick around longer. So as your final takeaway, I want you to keep in mind for all of this data, the importance of your payback period and the cost to acquire subscribers, but also that how you acquire them in the beginning has a direct impact downstream on the health of your business. Now, stay tuned for the next video where I dive into subscription offers that sell. We're going to be unpacking all the different ways you can frame your subscription product so that people will want to buy it.